Council President Kim Bradley and Mayor Johnny Dupree both agree on that idea. Kim Bradley thinks that internal auditor should report to the City Council. Now, as you can see behind me, several boxes of evidence have been seized in this search warrant. We exclusively obtained this letter from the Regional Director of Head Start sent to Board Chairman Willie Sims about a failed system and failed leadership. Exploded. Now, here's how all this went down. A crew was cleaning up around the area, burning some boxes. The person they have in question is not a member of the administration, but it was a former staff member here at Southern Miss. He actually walked out to the courtyard. He heard some popping noises, and as you can see over here, I'm going to pan right in here, that main distribution panel is just totally melted to a more restrictive Schedule 2. Now, this is a mandate that's been put in place by the DEA. This is an extremely dangerous situation, and again, they're encouraging everybody to stay back as far as possible. There are hazmat folks out here. Now, John Duncan with the Civil Service Commission says as it stands right now, there's no chance in Vaughn getting his job back. They're so outraged that they're saying that flashing red light above that stop sign simply is not enough. That black Honda Accord came by, smashed the side of the trooper vehicle, then flipped and lodged right underneath that orange 18-wheeler. But what they do not agree on is who should oversee that employee. That his son was found barricaded in his basement. Now the police have arrested his wife, the child's stepmom, on an unrelated weapons charge. Alexandra Field reports. And that's putting the spotlight on that disease. Now, Dr. Bruce Hensel explains why dementia is often confused with Alzheimer's and how they're both different. Demonstrators on both sides of the debate are gathering outside a U.S. Border Patrol station in Marietta, where residents earlier in the week prevented buses of immigrants from coming from the Texas border from being processed on a local facility. Quote, "The word education is not in the Constitution. Because the word is not in the Constitution, it's none of their business." The South Mississippi Narcotics Task Force made half a dozen drug arrests in Wayne County last week, but one man remains at large. According to this arrest warrant and video footage, Joe Barnett allegedly made 2 transfers of prescription pain meds to a confidential informant. Brent Purcell with the Narcotics Task Force says Barnett should be arrested.
All we're trying to do is enforce the law to the best of our ability.
After contacting the mayor, the police chief, and a justice court judge, nobody could provide us with details as to why Joe Barnett is still not behind bars.
A drug transfer is a drug transfer. Whether you sell it, whether you give it to somebody, whether you barter or trade it for something else, the state law is still the same penalty.
According to a doctor's note provided by law officials, Barnett is scheduled to undergo surgery at an undisclosed location, which leads to why he is not in police custody. According to state law, it is a crime to transfer drugs without a prescription. Purcell notes the prescription drug epidemic in Wayne County.
In 2011-2012 time frame, where in this small community of Wayne County, 7 people OD'd on pain prescription medicine.
Lynn Page looks like anyone you'd see out on the town. Hard to believe that not even 1 month ago, this was her home. Until Shaquenna Arrington decided to do something a little different.
I just love people, and I try to do whatever I can to be a blessing to people.
So she drove to the other side of the train tracks, got out of her car, and searched.
She was very beautiful and hungry.
That's when she found Miss Page, hunched over and dying.
I feel safer, much safer, darling.
I'm just happy that I was able to help get her out the woods.
After spending a while hospitalized and receiving several treatments, Paige is slowly piecing her life back together. She's now living with a Pine Belt family who asks to remain anonymous.
I would never want to be here again.
Many of 71-year-old Paige's personal items turned up missing. However, she kept one item extremely close.
My New Testament.
Her Bible.
My Bible is one of my devoted materials.
Shaquenna and her husband just started Faith Blessing Path.
And we never realized we had this many homeless people in Hattiesburg.
Their dream is to build a halfway house once they receive enough donations and resources.
This is a way we express Jesus. This is something I support my wife with 100%.
For now, they're finding temporary housing for the homeless in our area, for people like you, me, and Miss Page. And it all began with Tabasco. Tabasco sauce. It was born here in 1868 at the Avery Island Salt Dome in the bayous of Louisiana. This guy, Edmund McElhenney, invented Tabasco after moving to Avery Island after the Civil War. And now the family-owned business is responsible for making food go from bland to the best in the land.
And it's in 184 or 5 countries throughout the world.
But what makes that red sauce with a kick so popular? We asked Elias, a seasoned vet who's called the island home his entire life.
When I was growing up, we had our own little schoolhouse here.
We have generations here.
And the generations are not limited to the McElhenneys.
Everywhere, it's part of our DNA, whether you are part of the family that started it or whether you're part of the family that works here, either way.
You never get rich working for McElhenney Company, but you make a great living.
So the family broke tradition for a fleeting moment to give us a rare glimpse into how it's made.
See how these whiskey barrels have iron hoops? And a lot of them are starting to rust already.
The formula is red Tabasco mash, vinegar, and salt.
Tabasco pepper. It's the capsicum quintessence variety Tabasco.
Even though Osborne is part of the Tabasco dynasty, his ritual is to check pepper bushes each day.
Religious every day, so.
The peppers grown on the island are not for the production of Tabasco.
And then we actually produce the seeds that we package and then send to Latin America.
That's where the seeds become peppers and then mash. The mash is shipped over to Avery Island, then aged like a fine wine. The mash is poured into whiskey barrels, sealed with a thick coat of salt, then aged for 3 years. It is then packaged and shipped to places around the world. I'm Rachel Beech. I'm Rachel Beech. Reporting in the city of Hattiesburg for 7 on your side. I'm Rachel Beech.